By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to shut down a narcissist without even saying a word. Let's get started. Hey friends, Tamie M. Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom class and the Ascension class. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comment section below. And if you're back, welcome back. Thanks for showing up and for tuning in. Either way, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos throughout the week. So let's talk about how to shut down a narcissist without even saying a word. Now, in order to be able to shut down a narcissist without even saying a word, there are a few things that we actually need to begin to master. First and foremost, mastering the art of detachment and non-reactivity. Now, let's be real. This isn't easy, especially when we are deeply hurt, legitimately so, and every wound that we carry is being triggered. So in order to be able to even begin to master the art of detachment and non-reactivity, we actually have to do our own healing and recovery work. But the good news is, once we get on the path and we start doing our own personal healing and recovery work, detachment and non-reactivity, much, much easier to do. In the meantime, it's a question of practice, developing the muscle, making a decision, deciding that I will not engage. I will not give my power away. I will not take the bait. I refuse to play. Then breathing. Coming right into your body, right into the present moment, holding on to yourself, doing whatever you need to do to exercise extreme self-care, while simultaneously maintaining a posture of pure detachment and non-reactivity. And I promise you, with practice, you can do this. Next, master the blank stare. Seriously, treat them to a dose of their own medicine. Now listen, this is not about stooping to their level and doing what they do to you in an attempt to get back at them. That's not what this is about. Rather, understand that there is power in you, the empath, learning how to take care of yourself when dealing with an empathy impaired, conscienceless, toxic, manipulative, harmful, abusive individual. Big, big difference. There is power in you, the empath, learning how to protect yourself by remaining, by choice, cold, unfeeling, detached, poker face, non-reactive, whatever it takes within the bounds of extreme self-care. This is about taking your power back and becoming a far less attractive target. So while you're doing that, while you are practicing the art of detachment and non-reactivity, while you are learning to take your power back and take much better care of yourself, breathing into your body, holding on to yourself, exercising extreme self-care, whatever that is for you in the moment, remember, less is more. The less you say, the better. Silence is very powerful, especially when we are dealing with an empathy impaired, conscienceless individual who is highly manipulative and highly toxic to our well-being, right? Silence, Very powerful. And don't kid yourself. Distance is always going to be your best bet. So practice blank stare and poker face your way all the way to as much distance as you can manage with this creature. Now, comment below and let me know whether or not you have someone in your life you suspect has a narcissistic personality pattern. And if so, who is it? Have you tried any of these strategies to this point? And have they been helpful? And with that said, if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in my 8-week transformational coaching program, the Freedom Class, there is a link in the description below where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Now, last but certainly not least, focus on yourself. Focus on your healing and your recovery, not just paying lip service to doing the work, but actually doing the work, not just consuming content, watching YouTube video after YouTube video, although it's helpful to gather the information. It can be validating, it can be empowering to understand what the hell has been happening to us. And for many of us, our whole entire lives, right? So that can be helpful, but I promise you that is a small percentage of the game, right? That's all about intellectualizing the problem, not actually coming down into your body, feeling and healing, right? There's a big difference. At a certain point, we have to stop consuming information only, and we actually have to start beginning to do our own healing and recovery work, which requires getting out of here, this nice, safe place for many of us, right? And coming down into our body and actually feeling what it is that we don't want to feel so that we can fully up level, shift, and heal it permanently, right? If we don't do that, what ends up happening is we simply continue to repeat the patterns. Might be a new person, might be a new relationship, might be a new employment environment, boss, colleagues, what have you, might be a new friend, a new neighborhood, right? Geography can change. The faces can change, but the patterns continue to play out on repeat until we do our own healing and recovery work. So it's vital that we stop, stand still, and go inside and do the real work of healing and recovery to understand what is it that's going on inside of me that continues to attract this type of empathy impaired, manipulative, toxic, abusive, harmful individual, right? Because at a certain point, we have to stop playing victim. As much as we've been victimized, we have to decide, I'm not going to unpack there. Yes, I've been victimized. Doesn't mean I have to live my life as a victim, right? So at a certain point, we have to put that down and pick up radical responsibility for ourselves, radical responsibility for our own lives, radical responsibility for our happiness, our health, our well-being, the quality of the life that we are living. And that radical responsibility in the realm of codependency, adult child syndrome, and narcissistic abuse healing and recovery requires that I take responsibility, not for them and their behavior and all of their nonsense, but for what's going on inside of me that continues to live out this pattern on repeat, unconsciously, subconsciously going on in my life. What's going on inside of me that remains unhealed, unrecovered, that needs to be looked at and addressed and healed fully, permanently, once and for all, so that I no longer find this type of individual compelling and attractive, right? Because let's be real, we're drawn to them as much as they are drawn to us. So what's going on inside of us that is continuing this phenomena, right, happening in our lives? It's not a function of a lack of information only. That's a small part of the game. So focus on yourself, focus on your own healing, your own recovery, actually doing the work, not just paying lip service, not just consuming content, but actually doing the real work. Focus on that stuff. And this is how we shut down the narcissists in our lives without ever saying a word. We become healed, we shift, we up level. Our energetic force field shifts. We learn to set healthy limits and boundaries. Doesn't matter whether or not they know how to, we know how to. We know how to take care of ourselves. We know how to love ourselves. Doesn't matter whether or not they know how to, we know how to. We have our own back. We don't abandon ourselves. Doesn't matter whether or not they have our back or whether or not they abandon us, because we have our own back. We don't abandon ourselves. See what I mean? If you want to shut down a destructive narcissist in any area of your life, the work begins here. It's all about what is going on inside of me, right? And when I change what's going on inside of me, the outside has to shift, up level, change. Our outside is a reflection of what's going on inside of us. And 95% of what's going on inside of us is subconscious, below the veil of our conscious awareness. So by doing the deep dive healing and recovery work, by learning to take our power back, by healing the old wounds and traumas that make us a vibrational, energetic, emotional, psychological, and spiritual match to these very harmful people, by doing all of that, our inside shifts, our inside up levels, and therefore the outside reflects back to us that new, shifted, up leveled, healed reality. Our outside is a reflection of our inside. So if we want the outside to change, the work is internal. We have to focus on that stuff. And with that, I'm going to call it a wrap. My friends, I hope you got some value out of this today. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to drop me a like and a comment. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. And once again, if you're new to my channel, great big huge welcome. Happy to have you here. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos throughout the week. And once again, if you're interested in learning more about the possibility of working with me in my 8-week transformational coaching program, the Freedom Class, there are links in the description below. You can go to the website, TamieMCoaching.com, click on programs and reviews to check out all the details. There's also a link in the description to apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. And as always, I will leave you with this. Know your value. Know your value and unlock your freedom. Much love. See you next time. Bye for now.